everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode or a previous episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. And if you have any feedback to offer to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know. Reviews. Okay, you guys are you guys okay over there?
I'm gonna choke.
We opened up snacks on the podcast quickly.
I hope he could hear that. It's on purpose.
Oh my goodness.
Choking
That's
on
why he
snacks.
doesn't give you guys snacks.
Yeah, no
Okay.
kidding.
All right. Reviews. Holy cannolis. Look out. Wow.
We're going to create a poll. We decided.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive.
So that means you have to
thank
follow
you to
us.
everybody for helping us get there so
I know.
that Devin can be
92 now.
tortured.
It's not 91
Thank
like
you
it
so
says.
much.
It's 92.
It's
From the bottom of my
92.
heart.
Harrison told us right before we started.
Yep.
Mhm.
I see the sweat beating up on your brow.
Oh, yeah.
Right
I think it's
now.
because she just almost choked and
She did almost choke,
aspirated.
but that's okay. And aspirated. Yes.
Yes, I did aspirate.
Oh, also, don't forget, leave us a review.
Yeah.
Yes,
mean, because-
please.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
fun and we love reading them.
Yes.
And
It's not just for the Devin's experience. It's not a punishment. It's an experience.
an experience.
But we
I like
truly
that
like
word.
reading the reviews.
Yep.
They give us the, like, not that we don't have the drive, but it gives us even more drive to
Yes.
keep making episodes.
Boost that
They're very
algorithm.
sweet. Yeah.
Puts a little light
Most
under
of the
our
time.
tushies.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're like at
A
233.
little
Is
fire.
that what that says?
Yes,
Yes.
233 on Spotify.
Damn. Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
I would,
Now, we could just promote our social medias right now because we may or may not be posting a poll on our social media Instagram to see what your feedback is on Devin's experience.
Mhm. Yes.
So what are those things, Courtney? The social medias.
Well, okay, here we go. On Instagram and TikTok at the Veterinary Roundtable. Do you want me to go into my spiel now?
Do it.
All right, here we go. Still promoting the crap out of our texting service. So it's at the top of the episode. So you click on the episode, it's at the top. It says send us a text message. Click here. You can send us a message. And then if you would like us to shout you out with your name, put your name. Otherwise, it comes through as anonymous.
Boom.
What
she said.
My
I was gonna
top.
say, were you going to say something or okay?
No, just what she said.
What she said. What she said.
At the Veterinary Roundtable.
Yes, and we also post really funny stories
Yeah,
on
we're kinda cool.
Instagram.
On Instagram.
So
yeah.
check us out, please.
I do want to say that we have had a lot of interesting guests on, and I feel like it's worth noting, and I feel like I really want to share, or I want to remind people
Yes.
that
good.
this is a place. No, I don't. I shouldn't.
No,
Sorry,
go.
continue.
Okay.
You're doing great,
that
sweetie.
when we had Thinking Canine on, and people have different opinions about different topics, and that's okay.
Yes.
Because here on the Veterinary Roundtable, we will listen and talk to anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're
We are
open to
not-
all opinions.
We're not going to be
We're-
just like one-sided.
Yeah.
How is that? One, how do you ever get any better? Two, how do you ever learn anything about anybody?
Yep.
So that's
Because we've been
who
getting
we are.
backlash on some things from that episode. And so we're just reminding everyone
This is what
this is what we're about. So if you have
Mm.
a problem with it,
Bye-bye.
don't listen to us.
Yeah, because there will be times where the feathers get ruffled, probably because not everybody's going to think the same. But I think it's so important, if you're interested in growing, hear other people's opinions.
Mhm. You don't have to
Because-
agree with them,
Don't have to agree with them.
Right.
but you also
But-
don't have to attack them for having their opinions.
It
Because they don't
is-
attack you for having your opinions.
It is it's how you grow.
That's right.
Freedom of speech.
Okay, so I covered that. That's good. Oh,
funny.
also I
Kinda
have to
was.
mention, because we've talked about this, so I need to mention, and I need to throw it out there. I need to tease it just a little bit. If there was going to be a live veterinary roundtable at, let's just say, a large conference that just so happens to occur in January in
In
the
a
state
warm
of
state.
Florida.
Oh,
Forgot.
just gave it away.
I just gave it away. Would you come?
I wonder.
Yeah.
Would
a
you?
live
We wonder.
podcast.
Would you come?
Would
Right?
I come?
Would you go?
There
Oh, I
might
would go.
There may or may not be merch.
There may or may not be drinks.
There may not be laughs and giggles.
You can come
Laughs.
see us in action, because
not
you
just
see us behind a
us.
camera, but
Yeah,
like
it's
there
not
will
just
be no
us.
edits, like nothing.
Yeah.
We're just raw
Unfiltered.
VRT,
Yeah.
Raw
Like,
VRT.
That sounds
That
scary.
sounds like a t-shirt right there.
raw vert.
Raw Vert.
We don't like raw diets, but we
Love Raw Vert. Oh my God, that's a t-shirt right there. We don't promote raw diets, but we promote raw VRT.
Robert.
Oh my God, that's
It's like
amazing.
a raw diet you'll get sick with laughter.
It just keeps
keep
coming
going,
to you,
keep
doesn't
going.
it?
Come on.
I was going to say, oh my gosh.
Gotta write that down.
All right, Devin, read our new review.
I actually have.
Oh, you have food in your mouth?
No,
Or-
I have Cheeto fingers.
Okay.
Those aren't Cheetos.
I know, but they're still orange. Okay. Almost 3 years ago, I took in a 5-week-old kitten from the side of the road that had a broken leg. During her road to recovery, we have dealt with radial nerve paralysis, FHS, feline hyperesia syndrome.
Hyperesthesia. Mhm.
Hyperesthesia, okay, and arthritis. Her challenging daily care prompted me to search out all the veterinary podcasts, which is how I found yours. The Veterinary Roundtable is by far one of my faves. Please never stop. At Cat Mom Life. Wait, Cat Mom for Life.
Oh, she loves her cat.
Same.
Just like you. You
I'm
guys
a
are
cat mom
like,
for life.
like, you know,
Hashtag cat mom.
soulmates. That's,
mom
I can't
for
believe you don't
life.
have that. Like,
Maybe I do.
Those are handy.
And it's
Oh.
just a secret
maybe you are.
because someone would make fun of me.
Not me. Although
It's
I
her
will
alter
say,
ego
Her
on
last
social media.
video is her driving in the car. She pans with her phone over and her
Yep.
cat's staring out the window at her.
That was
Watching
actually
me
really
stalking.
cute.
The only thing that would have made that video better would have been like you like zooming in on his face and then zooming back out like in a movie, you know, like where
I
somebody's
was already
stalking.
driving. I didn't want to run into the garden.
figured as much. Yeah.
But it's just so sad.
that was really cute.
It was really cool.
It
Yeah.
kind of
does that
makes you
every
want to see if my
day.
animals do anything. I don't think mine do though.
He stares at me.
Mine are
Frank
like,
stays
peace
by-
out.
Yeah.
Frank
glad you're
stands by the
leaving.
back door for a minute when you leave. Because whenever I stay at your house, if
Yeah.
I leave, Frank, they follow me to the, well, Phyllis doesn't because she's in a crate, but Frank follows me to the door. And then if I forget something, I walk back in, he's in the exact same spot.
Oh, my baby.
Yeah.
Let's
He
just talk
missed
about this
me
kitten for a
yesterday.
second. Holy crap. Talk
This
about
kitten's-
problems.
Oh,
Hyperesthesia, radial
the
nerve
radial-
paralysis.
yeah.
Kleenex.
I mean, geez, that's a lot.
That's a lot for a 5-week-old.
Well, and then to have to
That's a
manage
lot
that
for the
over.
owner.
I'm guessing the cat's older now, right? I mean, so like it's an older
Yeah,
cat.
it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
but
yeah,
on the
all those
owner
things.
too. It's a lot on the cat, but it's also
Yeah,
Lot
that's
to
a
take
lot.
care of.
it's a
Good
lot
for
to
you.
take care of. So thank you for
Yeah,
providing a good
geez.
home
Thanks
for
for
that
the
cat.
commitment.
mm-hmm.
I'm Dr. Ashlyn Duckwall.
I'm Emily King.
I'm Courtney Allen.
I'm Devin Fortune.
That was such an unusual spot to put introductions. I like it.
I mean,
Well,
that's
thank
where
you
it's
for the
at. I'm
review.
just following.
Cat Mom for Life.
Are you stealing her name?
She's lucky to. No, I said thank you for the review.
Oh, thank you for the review.
Your kitty's lucky to have you.
She,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yep.
Pits and peaks. Or we'll just take a brief pause here for
While you're
a moment
eating?
of silence.
Moment of
Chew
silence.
your.
For
I'll go
Well,
first, I
everybody's
guess.
be
I feel
quiet.
like I never go first on
Okay,
this.
go for it.
Peak, as I've discussed, my sister moved to Florida a month or two ago, and I'm going to visit her for the first time this weekend.
Yay!
I'm excited.
Fun.
Pitt, I don't know. I like there's more father stuff, but I'm not gonna get into that. This isn't gonna be my therapy. One of the case that you're gonna talk about is pretty sad to me.
Oh,
I
interesting.
thought that was sad.
My case?
I don't know
Her
which of you
case.
is
Our case?
Yeah.
I'm just
your
chiming
patient
in.
from yesterday.
My
So
case.
that I guess I'll call that my pit of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, stay tuned because
Stay
that's
tuned.
a very interesting case. Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll go. I'll start with. I'll just go with my peak. Yesterday, I found out my family's going on vacation in
Nice.
October. I'm really excited.
Where to?
because
Where to?
We haven't
Somewhere
been
fun.
on vacation in a minute. Dale Hollow. It's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a lake that's pretty secluded, actually.
Nice.
I heard somewhere along the lines that they told people to stop building houses on it or something. So it's very, very secluded.
Oh,
And my
that's
parents
cool.
found this house years ago, and we've been multiple times. But they have it's a house, and then it goes down a hill, and it's like your own private beach and lake. And we just tool around on kayaks and canoes and go to like the little islands. It's so much fun.
Fun.
So I'm really excited. And then my pit is, for some reason, this is vet med related, but I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention before, or, I mean, we didn't have the clientele that we do now, obviously, because the clinic is growing. But the euthanasias and the death and the sadness, I feel like is very overwhelming within like the past few months.
Mhm.
And like I said, we have a bigger clinic, so we're seeing more patients,
Yeah.
but it just feels like a lot. Like everybody is sick, and a lot of our long-term patients are passing. And like, I don't know. I just feel like we're losing a lot of good clients because that might be their only pet or whatnot. So just kind of sucks. Just feel like
I
there's a
get
lot
that.
of death and sickness recently.
I think
and-
that it's probably the cycle you're in right now because of the duration of time in which you've worked with these people.
Yeah,
And so then they're
right.
aging out.
Yeah.
And
That's
so then
true.
you see like this like classification, like, you know, like
Yeah.
the stratus of patients that were born in this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, that makes sense.
but then you miss the clients, right? I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like, because
big
it's as they're aging and getting older, then you're talking to them more frequently, and then it's kind of like now you don't talk to them because the pet has passed away, or they haven't gotten a new dog yet.
Yep.
But it's really cool when those great people that you enjoy so much and you've built those relationships with come back.
Yeah.
And they bring their puppy. It's been a
Yeah.
year and a half or even 2 years sometimes.
Yeah, that's like Lola's dad.
Yeah.
You know him. I can't think of his name right now.
Greg.
Greg.
Well,
He's got a puppy.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about OLG. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he got a puppy like a year ago, but it was really cool seeing him after his pet passed because she was very old.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, I don't know, sucks recently.
Yeah. I get that. That's
Just
hard.
kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I feel
My
like there's
pit
one
was-
after another.
My pit was my dog got sick while we were in Tennessee.
yeah,
and
I
then
saw that.
I only had oral medication. I did bring some medication, and finally, all the kids are like, "Is she gonna die?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And then they're like,
I don't think
they're
so.
basically like, "Are you gonna do something about this?" And it's like, "Okay, fine, I'll do something." Because usually she gets over it on her own. She eats something she shouldn't. You know, like
ate a lot.
2 hours later, she's back to whatever. No, she was literally the size of Texas. I was like, okay, like, did she run up the hill after she ate and like she tours? But then I was like, no, because she would have passed away overnight. So, but she had food bloat. I mean, she was like,
no. I was wondering why you took her because I was like, I mean, she's a big dog for just chocolate chip cookies. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Wasn't it a
And
lot,
what kind of
though?
dog is she?
It was a
Dr.
whole
King?
pan. She's
Oh.
a GSP. So she has a nose like no one's business. And it was a whole pan of just like cookie bars, chocolate chip cookie bars. And the chocolate was no big deal. It was really the sugar, you know, and it's the volume. But then she ate goldfish crackers on top of it. So like that
She ate
dries out
good.
all the liquid in your, you know, and then it all just expands.
Would you not
And
just
then-
consider inducing vomiting?
Well,
That's
she
funny
was
because my
bloated.
husband's sitting there going, why don't you make her vomit? Why aren't we inducing vomiting? I'm like, she's vomiting. I'm like, why do
Oh.
I need to induce vomiting? She's vomiting. She was vomiting
Gotcha.
like every 20 minutes.
oh no.
Poor
But nothing
Winnie.
was coming up, just some
Oh.
mucus. And
Yeah.
he's like, should we make her vomit? I'm like,
What do you think she's doing right now?
that's what she's doing right now. Is vomiting. Just nothing's coming up.
So what
And
they do at
Gotcha.
the clinic? that
What'd you
took
say?
her to?
So then I reached out to the local clinic and I was like, guys, so yeah, I'm a veterinarian. And they follow us, so they knew who we were. And so then they're like, yeah, I'm like, I just need some injectable Ceredium. And then when I was on my way to the clinic, I was like, maybe I should just get some sub-Q fluids too. And then maybe I should get a second injection for tomorrow. So by the time I get there, I'm like, and can I have this? And can I have this? And they're like, sure, no problem.
yeah.
Maybe you should just start bringing like a little.
I know.
Caddy
I was like, I don't know
some
why I never.
fluids.
Yeah, I know, right? I always have like like I had Serenia tablets and I have ID and I have Remedil, like things like that. You know, they usually get it themselves in trouble with. But
Yeah.
I was like, Winnie, I don't know what to tell
Winnie.
you, sister.
She'd
Just-
probably do it again.
Oh, yeah, because that's the most common question clients will ask, right? Is did they learn their lesson? You know,
No.
they
answer
chased the
is
bike and got hit
no.
by a car. Will they not chase a bike anymore? No, they're still chasing the bike. You know, even on 3 legs or 2 legs or whatever.
Yep.
So they don't learn.
Yeah,
It's just not how they work.
That post that Ashley sent in the group me, I was scrolling that night and saw it, and I was like, hey, there's King.
Yep.
They were
so
fangirling over you pretty hard.
It was fun. It was fun to see them and see a different like their
Sure.
practice
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
But
Cool.
they saved my butt.
Glad she's okay.
Yeah.
What's your? Oh wait, that's your pit. What's
That
your
was my
peak?
pit. My peak was probably getting to meet them because they follow us. It was
Nice.
fun. It was really cool. And it
Yeah.
was just weird and
Yeah.
at the same time. So they were really sweet.
Okay. My pit was kind of along Courtney's note because on Friday, it's a privilege to be able to help people you care about, whether it's family, friends. But when it comes to euthanasia, even though I feel like it is an honor to be able to provide that for people in my life, it's still really sad because you know the pet. So I had to, with Courtney's help, do a at-home euthanasia for just me and my husband's best friends. And it's the dog that my husband, had in college with his buddy and kind of forced them to grow up a little bit. So hearing all the stories about this dog and then knowing her. So we had to say goodbye to her. Her name was Ellie. It was peaceful and it's exactly how they wanted it. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm glad you get nervous that there's going to be like hiccups or
Right.
something goes wrong and that's not what you want either. But so it was peaceful. It's just, you know, it hits a little heavier. Every euthanasia hits some way or another. But anyway, I was able to help with that. And that's why I do this job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a pit. Peak. Well,
Carl the contact.
Courtney and I had a great road trip because it took 50 minutes to get there and 45 minutes to get back.
Oh, wow.
It was on the south side of town
This is the best car ride of my life.
with traffic. So we had a mini girls road trip.
465
we did not
traffic?
have snacks.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep, I know. I get so angry at just.
She was not happy.
We forgot snacks, but at least we had a good quality time. So yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad that was a
Made something good out of it.
because it could have been a pit too.
No, it was actually, it was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't, it was at the end of our day. Like we left the
On a
clinic at,
Friday.
like, 5. Yeah, on a
Oh,
Friday.
God. Yeah.
So already not well. And then we had no food.
No food.
And I was like, we could stop and get something, but I
was
really
like,
don't want to.
All the places that you see going by, like I could have stopped there. I could have stopped.
I was like, I just want to get home at this
Yeah,
point. And
'cause
she's like, I agree.
We didn't get back to the clinic until like 8 or something like that.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
it was a
you,
good time.
you brought up an interesting thought, which is like it's so hard sometimes to practice medicine on people's pets that you care about because you feel like there's that added pressure. Like you want nothing more than to be able to help them, but then at the same time, that there's that extra pressure, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes feel like the harder you try, the worse it gets, or like you know, like even like with clients, sometimes it's like that maybe you didn't you did something that maybe was less than adequate last time, so you're trying to make up for, and then it's just like it gets worse.
Yeah.
Or
It
like
gets
the
worse,
relationships you build with the clients, and you're like, I don't want to disappoint them. I
Right.
don't want them to not like me anymore. So I think that's a good way. It's like the pressure with people you either get to know or you love and care about or whatever. But then with your own pets, that's that emotional blinder. It's so very different. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because clients, I mean, I feel like you can disconnect a little bit more than you can with personal friends.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
then some
Oh,
tears are
sure.
shed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not that that's unprofessional by any means. Emotions are good, but I feel
Yeah,
like it's easier to, which sounds horrible if you're not in vet med, but detaching is much easier when you don't have a personal
necessary.
relationship
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
client.
Yeah. Right now, my sister's dog's sick, and I'm like trying not to give her too much information,
Right.
but then not freak her out. But I'm also like, it'll be fine. Like, I'm just gonna figure this out over here. And it's like, oh gosh.
And then feeling like, what if you can't figure it out?
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like the pressure of
know.
not being able to figure it out.
I know. Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a crazy
Interesting,
whirlwind of
interesting
emotions.
feeling. I think in
Yes.
human medicine, they're able to just be like, nope, sorry, can't work on your brother.
There's
Yeah,
a
isn't-
law.
that's a law. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't
That is
work
a
on
law,
family.
actually.
That's probably why, though. It's
Yeah.
probably smart.
Yep, exactly.
Mm.
All right,
Okay.
listener inquiries.
Inquiries.
I'm so proud.
Thanks.
Whatever.
Who
Okay, I'll
wants
do
to
the
read?
first one.
Okay, you do the first one.
I love this podcast and how much I am learning on the hot topics in vet med. I am a current senior at Berry College in Georgia, and I'm currently applying to vet schools. One question I have is, what's your clinic's heartworm, flea, and tick prevention? Here in the South, where mosquitoes are so bad, we typically recommend ProHeart with Bravecto for fleas and ticks. I personally love it, but was wondering what your other areas in the country recommend for their clients, since I know that it's a pricey option. I know Simparica Trio is a sponsor of the show, but also know many owners can forget to give their pets their monthly dosage. Also, I know some brands have experienced resistance to the worms and thus are not effective. Just curious on y'all's thoughts were, love the podcast. Thanks for inspiring young people like me who see so much growth there is in this field. Hadley and Brodie.
Love it. I
Love
love
it.
For
this
the
question.
inquiry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Well,
Love
like-
it.
Well, our go-tos for dogs are ProHeart 6 or 12 with Simparica, flea and tick, or Simparica Trio.
Mhm. When I have pushback from people because they don't want like the injection.
Right.
I know this isn't flea. Well, yeah. So when I have people that are wary of the injection and stuff, okay, we talk about why. Why are they
Right.
nervous about that? But if they're really set against it, then we talk about the orals. But I have to stress to them, I'm like, you can't miss it. Like
Right.
if you miss it, like that's
Yeah.
who's to say a mosquito won't just
Heartworm.
take a little bite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many good products out there, at least
Are
for
there?
mosquitoes. Well, there are some. HeartGuard is getting resistant.
Right.
That has resistance for heartworm, so that's not
as
widely
well as
recommended.
milbemycin. But I think that I think it's which is Interceptor.
Yeah.
I think that there's a sorry, Harrison's talking to us, so I got distracted. So it used to be, let's go all the way back. Like we used to have oh my God. Flarabits Plus. And that was a daily product. You have to give it daily.
Yeah,
yes, you had to give it every single day.
No.
Went away from that. Then they got to HeartGuard and they got to Interceptor. And now there's some generics of HeartGuard.
Mm-hmm.
Those products actually have not been tested to like show 100% efficacy in like I don't know how many years. So, and we also know that there's to your point, there's heartworm resistance. We do know that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's really evident around like the Mississippi Valley area. So as you go through, she said where she was located.
Georgia.
Right, which makes sense why they're using ProHeart. So moxidectin, which is what's in Trio and what's in ProHeart, it's the same molecule that's in both products. That's the only product that's been proven to work on heartworm resistant strains. So it's gone up against ivermectin, it's gone up against milbemycin, and it's the only one that will prevent these JAK2, I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, these heartworm resistant strains that are in the Mississippi Valley area.
Interesting. Good to know.
The other thing that it says on the Interceptor box, which people don't realize, that you have to give it consecutively for 6 months in order for it to provide prevention.
For Interceptor?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I remember saying, because we used to sell it. We were big on Interceptor at the clinic.
So, I mean, so that's why I push back. Like, are there really better products? I don't know if there are, because it requires compliance, which is your other thought that you had, is that it really requires the owner to give it on a regular basis, because I don't think enough people understand how the products work from the standpoint of they're only addressing a particular larval stage. So they're only killing a particular larval stage. If you give that product and so let's back up. I'm sorry, I'm going to lecture here for just a second. The mosquito bites the animal, injects the baby heartworm. It goes through these life cycle stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you give your product and you gave it, and this is why we give it to puppies by a certain age, because otherwise that larval stage will get past the stage that the product can kill it.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's past the stage. So now it moves on and develops, and you can't come back and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that if people aren't giving them, and if they're missing by 10 days, and I mean, there's a grace period you have with the larval stages, but like people aren't good at giving it.
Right.
And, ProHeart's been around for over 20 years. And
it's using, that drug is used in human medicine. And it's extremely safe. So which is why I try to reason with people to do in the ProHeart, because that heartworm, it can kill your pet.
Yeah.
I mean, tick diseases, yes, it could kill your pet. But that's like not as common at all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But from a
depending where
standpoint,
you are too.
And then do we want to talk about other flea and ticks? So like when they don't want to do the monthly Simparica, NexGard is still monthly. Bravecto, they have 3-month options.
Yep.
Seresto collars.
Again, the problem with Bravecto is that it's not going to cover all the same species as ticks as Simparica.
Yeah.
And
Simparica
so everybody calls it a
going
3-month product, but it's going to only last 2 months for this particular tick species. So what I don't want to see clients thinking is, I'm giving this every 3 months and it protects against the same ticks that Simparica does.
Right.
Why wouldn't I give it every 3 months then? Well, sure. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening.
Yeah. It covers less.
So like, I feel like people are misled to some degree, and so that's why.
Well, then there's all the propaganda against certain products too.
Well, yeah, the isoxafluralans or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and those are all those Credelio, NexGard, Bravecto, Simparica, all in the same drug category.
Yep.
But again, Simparica is the only one that has a label to be used with caution in pets with seizures. None of the other products have that label. So like, none of those others should be used at all in pets with seizures, dogs with seizures. So like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I always think as a consumer, like if I'm a consumer, what information do I need in order to make the best decision? I mean, that's how we kind of always came around to like, what products do we carry? Yeah. But there's still people using, I also don't believe in using, unless there was just some reason medically that some product was better than another product. I don't like putting products of different manufacturers in a pet, because no one wants to claim responsibility.
Right.
So like, you're putting ProHeart, which is made by Zoetis, in a patient, and also putting Bravecto in. who's going to say it's their fault?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like from a client support factor, not to mention that I think the medicine's better for Simparica, then it's like, I don't know.
It'd be easier.
Whatever you do, peppermint oil does not work.
Or garlic.
Or
Oh boy, now you're gonna have
coconut oil.
daggers thrown at us. Quick, get your shields up because it's coming. Yes. There. Oh boy.
There's one
You
ad
did
I
have
see
to
on Instagram
open your
all the
mouth
time,
and say
it's
it.
so
didn't ya?
bad. Oh.
People think garlic
Fleas and
works.
ticks are not vampires.
Oh gosh,
Okay, I'm
it's
done now.
hard. It is hard when
Don't
you
kill
have
us.
homeopathic tendencies or wants or desires, and there aren't great solutions
Yeah.
for you. So of course, people will use things that they hope will
Yeah.
work when you're trying to avoid
Yeah. Medications.
chemicals or medications.
Let me just
or-
contradict myself here real quick. Because my aunt she has farm dogs. Like they live out in BFE in Illinois. And her dogs live until they're like 20 and they get garlic.
I mean, it is. You hear that all the time, but see, that's
Yeah.
anecdotal evidence, right? So then
Right.
people like,
Plugging the ears.
well, my aunt did that, so
It's
it must have worked.
antidotal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's just like, well,
I don't.
her dogs are
it's
healthy and
hard.
they're happy.
It's hard. All I know is that if you put a container of fleas with garlic, it doesn't do anything.
Well, no.
Have you tried it?
No research. They've researched it.
Yeah.
So
It's like it does anything. I'm just saying.
because
Yeah.
why would companies spend? You have to, like I always think like, okay, why would the company be doing this from a business perspective? Why would they spend billions of dollars on R&D to develop a product that somebody can just use? Like, why would you do that when that doesn't make any sense?
When you can go to the
I know.
grocery store in the produce aisle.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fascinating. I don't have all the answers. Just find it very interesting.
I know.
Please don't
Yeah.
attack us.
People still gonna do what they gonna do
Yep.
because we know nothing.
Well, and the expense is a factor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. So you have that as a
Prevention
factor.
is not cheap at all.
But I will say we try and make it more affordable by using the products from the same company so we can maximize the rebates to the owners.
Mhm.
Yep. That's the other way we try and make it affordable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pets are expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, we had that conversation.
Preach.
Okay.
Okay.
Next inquiry.
Okay, wait. Harrison has sent us a
Well,
mention.
yeah, it's regarding the next inquiry.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. From Anonymous. I love your podcast, but is there anything that can be done about the volume level? Even with my phone or Bluetooth speaker all the way up, I have a hard time hearing you guys. With an equalizer on, it's not so bass heavy, but it's still incredibly quiet. I listen through Spotify, but other podcasts are much easier to hear. Brownie face.
We were Harrison was on top of this over the weekend. We
Yeah.
tried to test it out in our cars.
Mm-hmm.
I could hear it fine on mine.
I could hear it fine.
I did
And
listen through
use
Spotify.
I use Spotify.
Okay.
Okay, so what Harrison wants everyone to know is
The producer
the producer, yes.
himself. If we sound too quiet or you're listening on Spotify, it could be the service that your phone is getting, meaning that if your Wi-Fi is bad or your service is bad, Spotify will lessen the quality of the music or podcasts to keep it playing. And he'd also recommend checking the sound settings on your phone itself.
If that doesn't help, let us know.
Yes,
Yeah.
please let us know.
He is our technology
A
helper.
guru.
Because obviously we don't know. I listen through the YouTube. I just
The
put it on.
YouTuber.
Wait, how do you listen to music? Like what? Just the radio, or do you?
No, I have a
Like what?
YouTube app and I search it and I just put it on when I'm driving. I don't know why I do it that way, but I've always done it that way.
Okay, I was just curious if
I
you had
clicked the
Apple
video.
Music in addition to that or something.
I mean, I could just go to the Apple podcast since I
You
have.
could. It did come
You
with your
could.
phone.
I'm just gonna start.
It's not even an app you have to download. It's just automatically on there.
So let us know if you're still having trouble.
I don't know. I was born in 1992. Now everyone knows how old I am.
Yeah, you're so old.
You're so
Oh my
old.
God.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hopefully we solve that issue. Let us know, anonymous.
You want me to take this one?
Do this
Okay.
one, Courtney. Yep.
Okay.
Hey, I was just listening to Right. Okay, start over. Hey, I was just wanting to reach out to say I love listening to your podcast. I just recently listened to Choosing Between Being a Veterinarian or Vet Tech about online programs to become a VT. I used to go through Penn Foster. Sadly, life happened with financial things, so I couldn't continue. But I ended up going through Colby CC's DLVNP, which is Distant Learning Veterinary Nursing Program in Colby, Kansas. I actually started in January of this year, and I'm loving every second. I will agree from your podcast that it is hard sometimes to stay focused while doing it all online, but I tell myself that it's going to be absolutely worth it in the end when I graduate. I grew up around small animals my whole life, so I knew it was meant to be for me to become a VT. I wanted to sign up for your automated text for your podcast, but I don't know how or where to look. I also just want to say I watch your TikToks and I love the vibe from your clinic. It's so happy and friendly. I hope I hear back from you guys. From Madison Miller. Well, Madison,
Here's
you
us.
picked the right
Guess
person.
what?
To the right host.
Here's us hearing back to you. Yes, that's awesome.
Walk us through it.
Yeah.
Brittany.
Again? Okay, here we go. So at the beginning, I explained it as well. But I think, is it on all platforms, Harrison? Like, it's at the same location on all platforms? Okay. So Spotify, Apple, whatever you listen to it on, you have to go to our like channel or whatever, our profile, and then you have to click on the episode itself. And then it should, at the top somewhere, it should say, please, or send us a text, blah, blah, blah. You click the link, and then it will take you to the next page to write us whatever you want to write.
Courtney,
And
I
sign
think you
your
should
name.
do a video and then
I
post it
agree.
on our social media
A little
page.
screen.
Like
Like
play
a little,
action.
yes, like
Yeah.
where it's
Do that.
like, you do this. And
I
then
will
you
do
Wait,
that.
do
how?
this,
But
do
she said I
this.
wanted to sign up for your automated texts. We're not sending texts.
Oh gosh.
Oh, no.
Harrison Brand.
That's how you text
What do you
us.
think that means, Harrison?
I don't know.
I think maybe she's wondering if we send out texts as like reminders or I don't. That's what I took it as. I wanted
didn't
to
even-
sign
I
up
didn't
for
even
your
notice that.
automated text for your podcast, but I don't know where to look.
So, or
I
maybe
will say
she's just a
something.
little confused.
No, you can actually though.
Can I just say, I just texted or I got on Spotify and clicked the link and it brought me to messages, but it didn't pull up like, it just brought me to the general like screen.
I feel like on
It
some
didn't pull up
podcasts
the-
you can ask it to send you a
Oh, just kidding.
reminder.
My phone's just broken.
You can ask it to send you a reminder that an episode is launching.
Oh, you
just-
can get notifications whenever
Right.
we post on any social
Oh.
media platforms.
It works. It just took a
So
minute.
she
Okay.
so
But
it's
we
different.
won't physically text you. It's a service to where our listeners can text us, but we don't respond to them unless it's like on an episode. Right?
No, we don't respond till later.
No, like we'll read it. We'll read it on the podcast most likely, but we're not going to we can't text them back.
correct. So I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting.
Madison
her.
Miller-
Madison, can you clarify, please?
Yes, text us
Yeah.
back.
We
We
want
want to
to
make sure you
help
have
you.
everything
Just
that
text
you
us.
need.
You're gonna hear from us twice.
It's gonna be this line of communication
This is how
where
we'll communicate,
people
I guess.
text and we answer.
Wait,
the podcast.
the producer.
Oh, okay.
Madison's inquiry was an email. Okay,
So maybe
that's
she
fine.
just needed to know what you were
Okay.
talking about. Then.
Okay. So try that out, Madison. If it does not work, let us know.
Let us
Also,
know.
let us know what you use. Like it says Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah.
and we'll take it up with them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but it sounds like you're doing distant learning, and that's cool.
Stay after because we
January.
need enthusiastic people in the industry.
We sure do.
She's loving every second.
I know. That's why I
I'm so
said
glad.
we need those kind of people.
I know.
Bring it, sister. Like finish and
Bring the
come on.
chugging along.
positivity.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, I already hit on my spiel, so we're good.
Okay, great.
Hit on it twice.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Looking to protect your canine patients against parasites? Look no further than Simparica Trio, Serolaner, Moxidectin, and Pyrantel chewable tablets. The first chewable to offer triple protection from heartworm disease, ticks and fleas, and roundworms and hookworms. It's also FDA approved to block infections that may cause Lyme disease by killing deer ticks.
Use with caution in dogs with a history of seizures. Serolaner belongs to the isoxazoline class, which has been associated with neurologic adverse reactions. The most common side effects were vomiting and diarrhea.
Visit SimparicaTrioDVM.com for full prescribing information.
Okay. Okay. All right. Case
Case
collection. Okay.
We
who's
were all
going
told
first?
to
You
bring
go
one.
first because yours
Mine
is
is
long.
so long.
Okay. You go first.
Okay.
Wait, you got it.
Why didn't someone go and then I'll go and then?
Okay, I'll go. Mine's quick.
Okay.
Okay. You probably saw, if you follow our social media, you may have seen the recent stories that were quite alarming regarding a small orange kitten. So I'm just going to go through that spiel real quick.
His
of
name's
what
Goob.
Goob, that's right. I couldn't remember his name. Okay, Goob. Goob is a kitten that these owners found in the woods or something. And the first exam he had like a week prior to me seeing him, there was an injury to the tail. The tip of the tail was, a colleague saw him, but it was like crooked or something. And it looked like the skin was becoming necrotic. So dark color, meaning it lost its blood supply. So our colleague had prepped the owners like, hey, this is probably not going to survive, and the tip of the tail will probably either need to be removed or fall off. So fast forward a week later to when we saw him, and Mr. Goob came in with literally the tip of his tail, about an inch of it, just dangling. Dangling
Barely.
literally
God.
by
He would've
a
yanked it off over the
string
weekend.
of fiber or
Nerve.
literally don't know what
Something.
it
It
was.
looked like a tiny little white string.
Yeah, it was a nerve. I bet it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's exactly what it looked like. So at first I was like, oh my gosh, this poor kitten, like I need to remove this thing. But then I was starting to think like, okay, is the base of where the tip of the tail was falling off, is that healthy? Do we need to dock the tail more? Do I just need to remove the very tip of it? And then I was like, do I just cut it? I know he can't feel it, but I don't want to put him under any undue stress or pain. And these girls were helping me.
They
They're
did
like,
not
"Just
ask for my
cut it."
opinion.
Just cut
she
it.
didn't ask
Just
for
You
our
were
do it.
channeling your inner Emily.
She asked if I
Yes.
could go see or if I wanted to go see the kitten, and I walked in and I was like, just cut it off.
I was like, I just didn't want to hurt him.
Sure.
But then
Yeah.
but then another colleague helped Dr. McDivitt, the calm in the storm. She came in and she's like, he literally can't feel it. Just cut it.
He
So
was so good. He was
I just
like,
needed some extra motivation to
he
cut
did
it.
not make
Yeah,
a peep
totally.
the entire time.
Yeah.
It was
So I did,
Cut
and
it.
it was
Cut it.
Yeah.
it was
I think I was definitely
I
channeling
would.
it.
We
Definitely were.
it was dense and it made a little bit of a liquidy sound when I cut it, just so anyone wants to know. He did not move. He was eating
Yeah.
his creamy treat. He
Mhm.
was not in pain whatsoever. So then the base that was still there just scabbed over. So I sent him on antibiotics and a pain med just for the weekend because it was a Friday. And I said, hey, let's have him come in next week when it's a potential surgery day. We'll look and see if the tail is looking like it's dying more, it's not healing, then we'll dock it more. Well, thankfully that surgery morning, it looked like it was scabbing over and it was fine. So
Awesome.
he kept the rest of his tail.
Scoop
Now
kept
just a
his
little
tail.
shorter.
Scoop
Yeah.
kept his tail. Yep.
Oh.
Sounds like a story.
Yeah, it was
And-
interesting.
Do I share? I was going to share if you were going to. I forgot
Nothing.
about it until just now.
What?
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just wondering what.
Well, I was carrying the little tip of the tail around trying to scare people. I was going to say, hey, I have something for you.
Go ahead, Devin. I still have the tip of the I didn't want to throw it away. I didn't know what to do.
What are
I
you
thought
doing with the tip of the tail?
it's just in a little container in my locker.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what else she has in her locker? A
Body
dew claw.
parts. That's
A dew
great.
claw. A dew claw
Great,
that we picked
great.
it off
People are
of
gonna
one of
love
the-
that.
One of
That's
the
good.
Simcoe dogs a while back, a long time ago.
Body
Dew
parts
claw.
in the locker.
We couldn't throw Goop's tail.
It's
away. It
actually
felt
I have a
wrong.
little trophy from when I won an axe throwing, I think, and the dew claw sits in the bowl of the.
You should put the tail in
I
the
have
trophy.
a lot of fun things in there.
Oh boy.
Okay, don't go through Devin's locker.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
It's
the
scary in
takeaways.
there.
Don't go to
Well,
Devin's locker.
There's some specimens.
Okay. Well, that was my case.
Okay. Buckle up.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, my case is a 14-week-old blue heeler puppy. Oh, yeah. But he presented one morning for gassiness and discomfort. After Dr. Jones did her exam, we narrowed the discomfort down to his abdomen. So we did abdominal radiographs, and his stomach was very distended. The owners had fed him rice that morning to help with the gas. And with how full his stomach was, we wanted to induce vomiting. So we induced vomiting, and he produced 3 very compact long ropes of rice. And then we retook his x-rays, and his things were moving through a little bit better. His stomach was still pretty full, but we just gave him sub-Q fluids, Serenia, sent him home. And then he came back that afternoon with a 105 fever. So we got him all cooled down as best we could. He got down to 103. And then retook x-rays, and it kind of looked the same as it did that morning, but we didn't really think that his x-rays were the cause of his fever. So we started him on IV fluids for hospitalization, started him on Unison and injectable Rimadyl. And then throughout the afternoon, as we took him out to go potty and whatnot, he couldn't walk. We realized he couldn't walk. And we hadn't noticed it earlier because we were just carrying him throughout the clinic because he's so small and he didn't feel good. But we put him down in the grass and he just fell flat.
Oh,
Oh,
And we tried it a few times in a row because we're like, this is weird. And he might wobble a little bit and then fall on his butt and then eventually fall again. So we're like, Dr. Jones, come look. And then she looked, and with the fever and that, we were kind of leaning towards meningitis.
So we were considering referring him for a spinal tap, but we're like, let's monitor him the rest of the night. Before we left for the evening, his temp was 102. And then I did come in that night just to give him his other round of Unison and check his temp, and it was still 102. So came back the next day, temperature was stable, but he still could not walk. Like it was really obvious. And then whenever we were holding him, he would kind of scream. And he was screaming the day before during x-rays, but we thought it was from the bloat. But it was mainly like the front legs. When we manipulated his legs and like got down by the carpus, he was so painful, screaming. It was really sad. We ended up taking forelimb and hind limb rads and found HOD. Sent him out to be reviewed by the radiologist, and they confirmed that he was HOD, which is hypertrophic osteodystrophy. Started that bad boy on Rimadyl, and he's doing great. He can walk, he can posture to urinate and defecate, which he wasn't able to do. So we're going to keep him on Rimadyl for like at least a month.
Yeah.
And he'll grow out of it.
Yeah. Easy fix.
Yeah.
That's fun. You don't get to
But
see
we
that
did
very
all
often.
that work.
I was going to say,
And
that's
then-
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's
And,
what Copper had.
it was so weird because it started as bloat.
Yeah.
And then that dog has
It
been
was
through
just
so
completely
much.
unrelated.
Yeah.
It was just like two.
Huh.
That puppy's been through a lot too his whole
He
life.
also ingested marijuana a few weeks ago, but
And
he's been through the ringer.
because he was painful.
I know.
Because that's what Copper had in his jaw, right? Lion jaw. Is that
Yeah.
the same thing? Because they
Yeah.
were talking about it. I just never asked about it.
His
was
different.
Yeah, slightly different.
Because we called
Yes.
it lion jaw, but
talking
somebody
about
said
that?
it was the same thing.
It was.
No, it's like
It's with the muscle.
Yeah.
It's autoimmune essentially towards the
Oh,
muscles.
because
of
somebody
the
was saying it was the
face.
same thing. Somebody said it was the same thing, but you see it in legs and it never happens in the jaw.
craniomaxillary
Yeah.
something.
Because the nickname's lion jaw. That's what
Yeah,
he
that's
had,
the
right?
nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody said it was the same thing, so I was just
Or no, I'm
curious.
thinking
No,
of
you're thinking of
myositis.
myositis,
That's
yeah.
not what he had.
No.
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, but he
Copper's
was
was,
basically
all swollen and he
yes.
couldn't open his jaw. He couldn't eat. We had to place a feeding tube.
Yep. That was a
Uh.
nightmare. And it was just time.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
had to live through it.
Yeah, it was a long time, but he's doing great now.
Yeah.
He's thriving.
good. Good.
That's a cool case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Oh, that's good to know what happened. 'cause
And I guess
was wondering.
it's more common in like large breed dogs. And
Yeah.
he's not large.
Yeah, that's not a breed really
Yeah.
that you would think you would see
He's
it
really
in.
cute.
He's so
He's such a baby.
It's a very classic X-ray appearance
Yes.
too. It's like a thumbprint in the what?
Yeah, there was like a dark line right near the end of the.
Or I'm thinking
You're thinking
of
of panosteitis.
Are you okay?
all of them are mixing. I had
Yes.
a German Shepherd with panosteitis,
Yes.
but she was really painful too.
Yes. And they could be systemically affected as
Yeah.
well, but they
Yeah.
outgrow
Yeah,
that.
and like
but
his radius and ulna is what the report said.
at the
there
growth
was-
plates.
Yeah, there
Mhm.
was like a dark line near
Mhm.
the end.
It's
glad
like a
he's
double
doing good.
line. It's almost like a double line because you see the growth plate,
Okay,
you see
yeah.
the joint, and then you see the line above
Yeah.
the growth plate. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool
He's
though.
doing well.
And it's what's
Fascinating.
great is they outgrow it.
I know.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
He
so
is
it's like,
literally growing.
and they look so bad, like
Yeah.
physically when they feel that bad, like
Yeah.
they just look horrible.
He looked
Yeah.
miserable.
Yeah.
and then as
He's
soon
so
as you get them on anti-inflammatories, it's like
Mhm.
a whole 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just feels so
And there was
better.
one point like the first night where he was walking, but it was the Rimadyl, we realized.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really
but
cool.
he's out that
He also
case.
has really
Good.
awesome owners, though.
Fascinating.
Who were
Yeah.
willing to do all of these
they
things
did a
for
lot
him.
for him.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
because that's a long
They were
road
awesome.
without
Absolutely.
answers, and
Mhm.
it's scary.
Because you got to
Yeah.
work your way through it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, King-a-ling-a-ding-ding and I are going to tag team this one, I think. So we had a cat come in yesterday. She was found as a stray. I think she was approximated to be like a year, if that, probably a little bit less than a year old. And the people who were fostering, I guess, her at the time brought her in because they said she was pregnant and they thought she was in labor. So she had found them on last like Friday or something, and they brought her into us Monday because they noticed vaginal bleeding. And so they said, hey, we think she's in labor. And so when I got the history, I was just asking, like, is she vocalizing? Is she this, and this? She wasn't showing any kind of those signs at home. So we brought her in. They dropped her off to the clinic, and immediately we took her temperature. We just looked her over, everything. Her temperature was 101 around there,
yeah.
101.7, something like that, which we usually laboring animals, their temps drop to like 97-ish. So that was kind of our first indicator that, maybe. And so then we did an abdominal ultrasound to check for babies and skeletons and heartbeats, things like that. Well, not skeletons, but heartbeats. And we did not find any. Everything looked generally normal on the ultrasound. Her mammary glands were very, very, very enlarged, and she was producing milk, but we unfortunately did not find any heartbeats on the ultrasound. And then we took x-rays.
We saw no fetus.
We saw nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. And then we proceeded with one abdominal x-ray, and we didn't see anything there either. And so we called the owners to let them know, hey, it looks like she probably had the babies elsewhere when she was out. We don't know if she was maybe going to them to look for food or something, but she clearly left her kittens behind. And so the owners were really, really upset because they felt like they were doing everything right, because unfortunately they were told by a previous clinic that she was pregnant for sure. And they said that she needed to go get an ultrasound. So like I said, these people that found the cat were doing everything they were supposed to do. And then come to find out, I mean, the kittens probably almost 100% probably didn't make it because their mom left and they have no food source. Yeah. And it had been a few days since Mama was with them. So they took her yesterday when they picked her up from us. They took her to where that they initially found her. And they followed her for about like half a mile, and then they lost her to see if they could find the kittens. But we haven't heard anything else. So it was kind of a crappy situation because like I said, they were doing everything they were told to do, and it still wasn't the best outcome. So, and they got really attached to the cat really quickly. So they were sad to see her go, but they're still going to continue to put food out and stuff for her. But it's just crazy. Bummer.
Yeah. Cause she had said like, we were told that there were babies in there, so we were going to just allow her to have them in our home. Like she's like, if we would have known, they wouldn't have taken her away from the site. Cause they found her at one house and then took her to a different house.
Yeah.
So
that's hard.
Yeah.
This is the part that I wanted to chime in about was like my PSA announcement for veterinarians. Don't believe the owners. Like, so no matter like what the owners think, like I think a lot of times owners come with preconceived notions or ideas as to what's wrong. And it happens, I think, just by human nature. They come in and they'll say, you know, my dog has an eye infection. And that's all you're thinking about is like an eye infection. I think we limit our differential list. I just think you just naturally just go down this other thing, you know, not that you don't want to listen to them. You want to listen to them, but it's so easy to be misled when, you know, like, so like when that owner's calling and saying, like, I heard all the conversation that you had with the owner on the phone, and the owner's like, my cat's pregnant. And there's no way for you to know anything other than what the owner's. So all you're thinking is the cat's pregnant. Right. Well, if that cat comes in and you don't, you know, do the things that you did, and you're just like, just give it more time. You know, she's having the babies, like, and you don't take the time to, you know, feel her abdomen or take an x-ray or ultrasound her. I mean, like, you're totally misled. Say,
my thought was, well, if she is pregnant and in labor, she has vaginal bleeding. That's abnormal anyway. So you might as well bring her in no matter what. Yeah. But yeah, I'll be honest, like fielding the phone call, I wasn't really thinking like, there's no way she's not pregnant.
There's no way to know.
Just more I'm going to like, okay, C-section or something like that. Like she's trying to abort the babies and whatever. But then obviously,
you know, it's just,
I mean, feeling her abdomen, I didn't feel anything either.
And so often people are like, you know, or they come, my dog has allergies, or my, you know, like, UTI. And you just have a tendency to like pigeonhole your thinking, you know? And
I have
it's happened to me on so many occasions.
Yeah. I have a really good quick example of that. So we had seen a boxer for bilateral uveitis, conjunctivitis back in February. And so that owner had called in saying, oh, same thing's flaring up again. Granted, this has been multiple months later, right? And she's like, I tried using those drops and it wasn't working because I had prescribed Neopoly-Dex solution. So the dog comes in and you can instantly tell it's one eye. There's a clouded spot on its cornea, and it's an ulcer. It's a corneal ulcer instead. So immediately, because she's telling us on the phone, like, this is the same thing. Like, it's allergies. I want to figure out something for allergies. And so I'm on the back preparing, like, okay, what kind of allergy drops can I coach this owner to start using to avoid all these, you know, visits and stuff like that. And I walk in, I'm like, that's not even the same thing.
No, that happens so many times when you walk in a room and you thought you were going to be doing this, and
you thought you're prepared, and it's not even.
You think, oh,
Mhm.
Anyway, I just find it really interesting.
Yeah, because I had a cage set up for her, like the cat and everything, just in case she wasn't
Yeah,
active
we were
labor.
like in labor. Don't stress her.
Yeah, so like I had
so
a cage.
interesting.
I had a padded cage for her. I set a whole bunch of towels in there for it, just in case.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was I put a sign that says "inactive labor, only me to handle." Like, leave her alone.
I find it so fascinating, and their owners are only trying to help, but it's just
that was
still
wow.
And she was otherwise healthy.
She's
was
very
so
sweet.
Yes.
Her
But yeah,
babes.
she has some big old boobies. So I hope if her kittens are alive, I hope she found them.
I know
To get some relief because the girl needs some help.
I'm happy.
Okay, where are we at? I don't know.
We're on to the listener
questions.
Oh, okay. Howdy. Pet mom here who works in the animal industry who enjoys listening to the pod.
I love work called
I
the
love
pod.
Would be great to hear more insight into the hot and controversial topic of chiropractic work for pets. We go to an integrative vet clinic. Our vet is awesome and offers both conventional and non-conventional treatment options like acupuncture and chiropractic body work. She went to a major state school for vet school and then did extra training for the holistic treatment. She's done chiro on both dog and cat. I saw an immediate difference with our dog, her mobility. I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts on how it and how to know it's not a scam. LOL. I could see how a rando with no relevant animal training, i.e. vet school, could do more harm than good. Thanks and love to listen to all the info. Anonymous.
Sweet. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
It is hot and controversial.
It
topic.
is. It is.
Woo woo.
Trying to
That's
find
what we feed off of.
trying to find information to answer this was very interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely, it was.
Yes, because literally even on the VIN resource we have, it's got not arguments but differing opinions going back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like when to spay neuter your pet. You've got 10 different answers. So
Which means there's no good answer, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I don't know. The information I came across is you have to be very you have to be careful because you can do more harm than good, especially with different
Breeds.
what is it called? Like there's like a word they called one type of way of doing it. Like basically you push really hard and maneuver really hard, or
like aggressive manipulation versus like soft tissue something. Yeah.
And I did watch this video where a neurologist was commenting on this chiropractic video. Did you guys all watch that one too?
It.
Yeah. And so that was very helpful and important to watch. And I think it'd be helpful for owners because there was a lot of misinformation in that chiropractic appointment that could. Dr. Cellini, is that how you say
Cellini.
it? Cellini.
Yeah.
Dr. Cellini.
You can find him. He's a neurologist on YouTube. Watch
He's
the
a
video.
vet
DM Cellini.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, that video was extremely helpful to get obviously his insight because this chiropractor is manipulating the nervous system structure of it and that's what he is trained in. And so there are instances where he's like, I'm not quite sure what the goal is here.
I think that there's no significant or robust research studies. So it's like
that was the other thing.
Not that we don't do things that don't have. We do. There's probably lots of things that we pursue because our back's against the wall that we don't have robust research studies on. We're like, okay, this helped the last pet. Maybe it's going to help this pet. Okay, because of the field we're in, I get it. But we're talking about like a particular field of medicine. So that's where I'm like, oh, I don't know. We don't have any robust research studies to show. We have a lot of anecdotal information from owners being like, yeah, my dog felt better.
Yeah.
Like, how do we know? Like, how do we know it felt better?
Right.
Like, so I don't know. I don't know.
Well, in this video, it didn't correlate to the history of the clinical signs for the dog anyway. So it wouldn't be the treatment of choice for what was going on with that dog in that video. Because that dog, it sounds like he had a ruptured disc or bulging disc.
In your research, did you find that that you can get a certification in American veterinary chiropractic?
Yeah, it's for only veterinarians.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I think like if to answer her question, like, how do you know it's a scam? I think first,
look at their credentials.
Yeah. Go to somebody that I wouldn't go to a human doctor that's practicing.
No, because some can just learn alongside human chiropractors.
Yeah,
right.
It's completely different.
And it's completely different. And, and then having human chiropractic people work on veterinary medicine. That's practicing veterinary medicine in some states. So you got to be careful about that. So like, I think if you can find somebody that has the certification, I mean, that's the best that you can do in terms of validating.
They've gone through the
service,
education.
right? I mean, I don't know. That's the only things I could come up with.
Yeah.
I mean,
like it's
her other
very
part of the
risky.
question was holistic medicine, like acupuncture's
I
great.
do think there's a place. Yeah, I think acupuncture, there has been documented research.
Laser therapy,
Right.
Which
I've
is
heard
kind
you
of
talk about
PT.
acupuncture. Like you like it.
I think
Well,
for
for
nerve
certain
pain,
things,
right?
yeah. Unless and like you said, as long as you're doing it correctly. But
Yeah.
It's just another tool in your toolbox that you can, just like any medication, you're only going to use it for specific things. So, yeah, I mean,
There are so many different aspects of holistic therapy, whether it's
I know.
supplements or
herbs.
yeah.
As long as it doesn't do harm, right? And within reason. I think that's something we've had plenty of patients come in with certain herbs.
restriction.
Yeah,
the
like
owner
already
doesn't want
on
certain things.
Yeah.
right. What's a common like liver one?
Dual just hepatic
Thistle
support. Yeah, milk thistle.
milk thistle, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I think the difference with some of those is that some of those products are like approved by, again, the best that you can do is be on that list for supplements. I can't think of the list name now. I'm having a brain fart. But it's a list that's formed that says, okay, you meet these specifications for supplements.
Right.
And so like a lot of those products are on those lists, so that's the best you can do as an owner is to use something that's on the list.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think making sure if you do decide to go that route, because ultimately it's your decision, make sure you're going to someone with credentials and proper knowledge, because vet school, you don't get any of
None
that.
of it.
None of it. So don't come to a
Zero
GP
Zippo.
and be like, I want acupuncture done, because it ain't going to go well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I
it
agree.
just.
We can poke your dog, but it's not going to be acupuncture.
I don't know. It's a personal decision.
I will say my old dog, SJ, I had chiropractic work done on him and it seemed to help. But like you
See?
said, that's just he say, she say. I mean,
how much
but
is it
he-
placebo? How much is it?
Right, sure.
like,
I mean,
true?
yeah, right. But I
mean-
mean, it seemed to tremendously help him because he would be like immobile because he got hit by a car. So his hip stuff, I don't know. To me, it worked.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it I don't know, it improved his quality of life and improved my quality of life. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
Do no harm. That's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. And that's our oath. Yep.
That's right.
Like you said, it's your
Right.
pet. Do what you want.
I love the question though, because it is
Yes.
controversial.
Mhm.
Yes.
Take us out.
Oh, sorry. One moment. I forgot.
You haven't memorized it? Come on.
No, I honestly
Memorize it.
should. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Please leave your review. Remember to send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode or a previous one. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.
All right. Thank you.